You're the reason my son is dead. This wouldn't have happened if he didn't steal my bike. I hate that I have to say this, and as much as it burns my chest to admit it, he deserved it in a way that still keeps me awake some nights. I'm not carrying blame. Not today, not ever, because I know where my hands were and what they never touched. This whole mess didn't start with anger or revenge. It started with coincidence. I was bored, killing time, standing under buzzing lights at a weekend auction, when a Harley rolled onto the floor, chrome shining like it knew it was about to ruin lives. I didn't need it. I didn't plan for it. I raised my paddle anyway. Welcome to Care and Conflict. Make sure you like and subscribe for your top-notch HOA drama. When I rode it back into the neighborhood, the air felt different. Curtains twitched. Mouths hung open. People stared like I was parading a dragon down a quiet street. The engine purred low, controlled, respectful. Not the monster they imagined. I parked it, wiped my hands, and smiled to myself until footsteps rushed me from behind. Derek, Vanessa's son. Same sharp eyes, same entitlement, just younger and sloppier. He congratulated me through clenched teeth, then admitted he'd been at the auction. That bike was his dream, he said. He'd been saving, planning, picturing himself on it. I outbid him by a heartbeat, and that heartbeat cracked something in him. He laughed it off badly, circled the Harley too closely, fingers hovering like he already owned it. He asked questions that weren't questions. How fast does it go? How much did you pay? Do you even ride much? I answered politely, because at that moment he was just a sore loser, not a warning sign. He walked away eventually, but the look he threw back wasn't disappointment. It was calculation. Before we dive in deeply, let us know in the comments what country or which city you're watching this story from. We'd love to know how far this story travels. 3 days after the Harley became neighborhood folklore, Vanessa finally descended from her porch, like a storm with a clipboard. She didn't greet me. She announced me, said my name like it tasted wrong, then pointed at the bike as if it were leaking poison onto her lawn. According to her, motorcycles violated community harmony, aesthetic balance, sound regulations, and several rules she quoted from memory, but never produced. I asked for the document. She smiled then and said presidents didn't need to explain themselves. The timing wasn't subtle. Derek hovered across the street, pretending to scroll his phone, watching every word. That is when it clicked. The auction, the glares, the sudden policy revival. I told Vanessa the Harley was registered, insured, inspected, and legally parked. She waved that away and promised escalating consequences, fines, notices, hearings. She spoke with relish, like she'd rehearsed it in the mirror. From that day, harassment became routine. Warning slips appeared on my door without dates. Anonymous complaints accused me of revving at dawn when I was out of town. One night, someone loosened the cover over the bike, letting rain soak the leather seat. Vanessa denied everything while hinting she could make it stop if I cooperated. Cooperate meant sell, preferably to someone local, preferably her son. I refused, calmly, repeatedly. That only sharpened her focus. She held an HOA meeting about dangerous machines and used my Harley as a slideshow villain. Neighbors I barely knew nodded along, afraid of becoming her next target. Derek tried friendliness again, offering to buy it cheap, saying, accidents happen when bikes sit unused. His smile never reached his eyes. I started documenting everything: photos, dates, voices. Vanessa noticed the camera and backed off slightly, switching tactics. She sent letters through certified mail, each more aggressive than the last. She wanted me, tired, isolated, pressured into surrender. What she didn't realize was that pressure works both ways. Every move she made tightened a net she didn't see forming, one thread at a time, quiet and patient, waiting for weight to drop without mercy eventually. Saturday came in calm, deceptive silence. I washed the Harley myself, slow and careful, letting soap slide over chrome while the sun climbed. It felt grounding, like polishing a trophy Vanessa couldn't take. I left it outside to dry, exactly where it always sat, perfectly visible from half the street. I went inside, showered, made coffee, wasted time. When I stepped back out, the space where the bike should have been looked wrong. Like a missing tooth you keep touching with your tongue. I circled once, twice. My chest tightened. The Harley was gone. I didn't panic immediately. I checked corners, walked the block, hoping it had been towed for some made-up violation. Neighbors avoided my eyes until one older guy finally muttered that he'd seen Derek earlier, hovering around the bike, helmet in hand. Another said they heard an engine tear off, hard, sloppy, unfamiliar. That was when the comm cracked. I didn't call the police yet. Something told me to look closer first. I pulled up my CCTV footage and watched the truth crawl out frame by frame. Derek approached like he owned the place, glanced around, then crouched. He didn't have keys. He had wires. He hotwired it with reckless confidence, nearly dropped the bike starting it, then laughed. He tore off down the street, wobbling, revving too high, riding power he didn't respect. I marched straight to Vanessa's house. She answered, already defensive, like she'd been waiting. I told her her son stole my bike. She exploded. Called me a liar, said Derek wasn't a criminal, just a misunderstood young man with dreams. She said I should give him time, said boys test things, said I was heartless for denying him joy. While she ranted, her phone rang. The color drained from her face mid-sentence. A hospital. A crash. A motorcycle. Serious injuries. We drove separately, but arrived within minutes. Sirens painted the road red and blue. The Harley lay twisted, unrecognizable, metal torn open like it had been punished. Derek was on a stretcher, bloodied, barely conscious, surrounded by medics moving fast, urgent, afraid. Vanessa screamed his name and tried to reach him. I stood frozen, staring at what happens when entitlement meets horsepower without skill, knowing this moment would fracture everything that came after. Derek didn't make it through the night. The doctor said the injuries were catastrophic, internal damage stacked on broken bones, speed multiplied by inexperience. By morning, the street knew. By noon, Vanessa decided grief needed a target, and she chose me. She claimed I tempted her son, that owning the Harley near him was provocation. That responsibility followed possession. She filed a lawsuit before the funeral arrangements were finished, waving HOA letters like scripture and calling them proof. Court exposed everything she hid. My footage, her threats, the forged notices, witnesses who finally spoke once the fear cracked. The judge listened patiently while Vanessa unraveled, interrupting herself, contradicting timelines. Accusing neighbors who weren't present. Derek's record surfaced quietly. Unpaid fines, prior thefts, reckless behavior. The hot wiring mattered. Consent mattered. Ownership mattered. Tragedy didn't erase facts. The case collapsed under its own weight. Vanessa wasn't jailed, but the ruling stripped her authority completely. She lost her HOA position, faced civil penalties, and was ordered to pay damages she couldn't dodge. Her reputation shattered faster than the bike ever did. Neighbors stopped looking away. They looked directly at her instead, finally seeing the cost of unchecked control. I didn't celebrate. I repaired what I could emotionally and sold the wreckage. The Harley never returned, but something else did. Peace, accountability, silence where intimidation used to live. Vanessa withdrew, smaller now, avoided, no longer feared. Her power depended on noise, and the court took that away. Some nights, I still hear the engine in my head, that first calm ride home before envy twisted into obsession. I know I didn't cause the choice Derek made. I know grief doesn't rewrite truth. This wasn't revenge. It was consequence arriving on schedule, indifferent to excuses. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe to Karen Conflict for more. See you next time.